also. So when you're making your timetable, you will prioritize these high weightage chapters. So in botany, it will be plant physiology, genetics, and heredity, and in zoology it will be human physiology, biology and human warfare, and biotechnology. So first, your focus and utmost attention should be on these important chapters which are having the maximum weightage in your syllabus, because if you complete this, you will be able to cover a huge number of questions in your examination. Got it? Then once you are comfortable with these chapters, you have completely studied these chapters, then you can move on to the less chapters which are having less weightage. So after human physiology, biology and human welfare and biotechnology, you can move on to other chapters like animal kingdom, structural organization, biomolecules, evolution, reproduction, etc. Got it? So this is how you have to prioritize which chapters you need to finish first before moving on to the other chapters which are less important and which fetch and which carry less questions in the examination. Next, so here you can see that this is the class 11 syllabus. This is the class 11 syllabus, wherein I have already told you this chapter, that is these chapters of human physiology, these chapters, that is plant physiology, human physiology, these are very important. So first make sure you cover these chapters when you begin preparation for biology. Next, after this, you can concentrate on the other chapters like structure and functions and organization, plants and animals, diversity in living world, and so on. Same way in class 12. So this is the syllabus of class 12. You can see that here again this chapter, that is genetics and evolution, biology and human welfare, biotechnology, these chapters are the ones which have the maximum weightage. So you will have to finish these chapters first before moving into the other chapters. Fine. So now that you know what is the weightage, that is a chapter wise weightage of both botany and zoology in class 11 as well as class 12. Now I will tell you how to make a timetable. So it is very easy for me to make a standard timetable and provide it to you, saying in the 75 days I can cover the entire syllabus of botany and zoology, saying on day number 1 you will cover this chapter, or day number 2 you will cover this chapter, and so on. But please understand, a timetable has to be something which has to be made personally by you, because every student is unique, every student is different. Some students will be capable of finishing a particular chapter much earlier than the other chapters. Some students might require 2 hours to complete a particular chapter, whereas some other students might require 4 or 5 hours to complete the same chapter. So a universal timetable for all the students is definitely not something which you must look up to. No matter whoever provides you the timetable, it is definitely not going to help you, and a timetable is definitely something which you have to make on your own, because it is you and only you who know what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what is the chapters which you are very good at, what are the chapters which you are weak at, and how much time you will need to grasp a certain topic. Some students will be very good at certain topics within botany, whereas they will lack or they will take much more time to grasp certain topics in zoology. So there is so much of differences between students, and a universal timetable for all of them is definitely not going to help whoever is going to make it. So please understand the tips whatever I am sharing with you with respect to making a timetable, and make a timetable on your own, and definitely that will help you reach the target. Please do not follow any other ready-made timetable which is made by somebody else, because it will not suit you and your needs. Fine. So first, when we are going to make a timetable, what are the things which we need to keep in mind? As I already told you, first and foremost is the weightage. So we know what is meaning of weightage, right? First and foremost, what we need to keep in mind is weightage. So that is what are the chapters which are most important, from which you can expect the maximum number of questions in the examination. So those chapters should be covered first, and then the next least important chapter should be covered. So in your timetable which you are making, be it a timetable which you make for a month or for a week, make sure that in the first week itself you are beginning with the chapters which have the maximum weightage, and then it goes on in the decreasing order. So this should be your first point when you're making a timetable. Second one is the difficulty level. That is, whenever you are making or studying a topic, you should understand to what extent you are comfortable with that topic. Do you find that topic or the chapter very difficult, or you find it very easy? And further, what is the difficulty level of the questions which are arising from that particular chapter? So where it is very important for you to keep a copy of the previous year question papers along with you when your preparation. So each and every topic which you study, you should go to the previous year questions and check what kind of questions have been derived from that particular topic. Are they twisting the chapters, or are they twisting the questions, or the questions are pretty straightforward, or do you need to go too much in depth in that chapter in order to answer the questions which have been asked from the topic? So you have to keep all these things in mind, and you need to keep cross-checking as in how you prepare every topic or every chapter. You need to go back to the previous questions and keep solving that simultaneously. Please do not do this mistake of completing the entire syllabus first and then going and checking the multiple choice questions or the previous year question papers. That is going to be a disaster. Trust me, it is definitely going to be a disaster, because it takes quite some time for you to complete the entire preparation, and suppose you are not left with any time to solve the MCQs or the previous year questions, it is definitely going to push you into a difficult situation. So do not do that mistake of keeping the solving of MCQs or the previous year questions to the end. Always keep a copy of the previous year questions along with you, whichever topic you are studying, and then keep cross-checking as in how you finish the chapter or the topic. So say you take the topic of digestion. There are different subtopics. Say the first topic under digestion chapter is the alimentary canal. So once you finish the topic alimentary canal, you can go back to your previous year questions and check what are the questions that have been asked from this particular topic. So you will have a very good idea whether, based on the knowledge which you have acquired from your study, are you capable of solving the questions which have been asked from that topic. Or you can even complete the entire chapter on digestion and then go back to the questions asked in that chapter and you can solve those questions. But please do not do the mistake of completing the entire syllabus and then going back to the MCQs or the previous year questions. That is definitely going to push you into a difficult situation. So the study and the preparation as well as solving the MCQs or the previous year questions should happen simultaneously and go hand in hand. Okay. Next one is the length of the chapter. So whenever you're making a timetable, keep the length of the chapter also in mind. Certain chapters, like say the cell, the unit of life, or cell cycle and cell division. These are all very simple chapters, and it is possible for you to solve or prepare for this chapter in a single day, right? Say you take the example of the chapter the cell, or the chapter on cell division. These are very simple chapters and you have been studying these topics right from your school days. So it is very easy for you to prepare this topic, and it will hardly take 1 or 2 hours for you to complete the full preparation. So here you can club these two chapters, that is the cell and the cell cycle and cell division, in one day itself. So in one day you can finish both these chapters, whereas there will be some other chapters like biotechnology or some other chapters like genetics and evolution, wherein like the chapter on principles of inheritance and variation, or molecular basis of inheritance, wherein you will have to study about the DNA structure, the double helical structure of DNA, what is transcription, what is replication, what is translation. So these are quite cumbersome topics, and these topics will need much more time. So you cannot allocate 2 hours for a chapter on cell biology, and you cannot allocate the same 2 hours for another chapter, that is molecular basis of inheritance. Okay, well, for cell biology, that is the cell cycle and cell division together, you might need to allocate some 2 hours, whereas this single chapter alone might need some 3 to 4 hours. So keep all these things in mind when you're making a timetable. So what is the length of the chapter? To what extent you are comfortable with the chapter? What is the difficulty level of the questions which have been asked from that particular chapter? And what is the weightage of that chapter in the entire syllabus? And how many questions you will be getting from that topic. So all these will help you to make an informed decision on how much time you need to allocate for each of these chapters. Final and most important point which you need to keep in mind is your strength and weaknesses. What do you mean by strength and weaknesses here? See, again I'll tell you, not every student has the same not every student has the same level of understanding of certain topics, and not every student can grasp a particular topic or a particular chapter in a certain point of time. As I already told you, some students will be exceptionally very good in particular topics or particular subject. Say some student will be very good in solving the questions in physics and chemistry, whereas they might find it difficult to solve the questions in biology. Or some student might be very good in solving questions on zoology, especially on animal physiology, whereas they might find difficulty on the chapters like biotechnology. So it entirely depends on which topics and which chapters you are very good at. So you can allocate less time for the chapters which you are very good at, and you can allocate from some extra time for the chapters which you are in weak, or which you consider that you are not very good at, and you need to study much more in depth, or you need to spend more time for those topics. So for those topics you can allocate more time, and for the topics which you are very good at, you can allocate less time. So keeping all these important points, you have to make the best timetable which is most effective for you, and this will definitely help you in completing the syllabus in a smart way and also achieve you score well. However, please do not go by some timetable randomly prepared by someone without keeping any of these topics in consideration. Next. So, within the timetable also, say you have a chart like this wherein you have allocated different spaces for different days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. You have to keep in mind that please do not study one single subject at a stretch, be it physics or chemistry or biology or even botany or zoology. Say you today, if you are going to make a timetable for Monday, right? So you have to take a topic here in physics. So one topic from physics, one topic from chemistry, and one topic from botany, and one topic from zoology. This way, what happens is, neither do you get bored by reading a particular subject for a very long time, and neither do you panic that you have not covered the other topics. Say for example, you are concentrating only on botany for one entire week. So by the end of that week, you will be frustrated with botany, and at the same time you will also have some sort of tension that you have not yet begun your preparation for zoology, or you are not concentrating on physics or chemistry. However, we know that the weightage of botany and zoology combined is higher than physics and chemistry. Yes, definitely we need to consider that, because from physics and chemistry we are getting 90 questions, whereas from entire biology, that is botany plus zoology, we are getting 90 questions. So you will have to allocate less time for physics and chemistry, and you will have to allocate more time for botany and zoology. But even there, suppose you are weak in botany, suppose you are weak in physics or chemistry, and you find that you need more time to solve the equations or the formulas, then you will probably have to allocate equal time itself. So again, I'll tell you, it entirely depends on your strength and weaknesses. However, what I am trying to tell you is, do not hold on to one subject for a very long time, because on one hand it will create boredom, and on the other hand you will also start worrying about the other subjects which you have not covered. So make sure that you cover a part of each of these subjects on a daily basis, and the amount of hours which you are going to dedicate for each of these depends on what subjects you are strong in, what topics you are strong in, and how much weightage they carry. Fine.